How's it going, everyone? Welcome and thank you for stopping into the channel. Today I have an unboxing to do for you guys. This is a new knife that just recently came out and it definitely caught my attention. Before we hop into that, why don't we go over what I have in the pockets right now. First up is the Null Knives Raiden. This has a blue anode titanium handle. Beautiful. Has a acid washed drop point harpoon blade. You have dual thumb studs for the deployment method. All the hardware, pocket clip, backspacer are all blacked out. This has become quickly one of my favorite knives of the year and favorite knives of all time at this point. And next up, we have the new guy, or the newest new guy to me. This is the Sharp by Design Mini Evo. I got the harpoon blade, harpoon Tanto with the green micarta. It is a beautiful looking knife without question. I just got it recently, so I don't have a whole lot to say, but we will be doing a disassembly and an unboxing of that bad boy. So let's go ahead and hop into this package. I was able to get this through Amazon from Mojave Outdoors. And if you know, that will kind of clue you in as to what company this is, at least. And do me a favor, guys, if you are here and you like knife content, EDC content, and you're not subscribed, you see the little subscribe button down below the video, do me a favor, hit that little subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and go ahead and leave me a little comment down below. Anything your little heart desires is welcome. So we do have a Kaiser here. Now let's slide everything out of the way. Now Kaiser, I noticed, has been sending stickers with all of their boxes, all their knives now, which I really like. You have a Kaiser sticker and the drop bear sticker there, so that is very cool in my book. And then you have their little pamphlet. Gotta be sure to get your microfiber cloth out of there. Believe me, I have left a many in there. And then you have the pouch, and I'm thinking that makes this a more high quality premium Kaiser. And then in the box they also include extra hardware, which is a beautiful touch that they've been doing. They just started doing this year. So here we go, guys. Here we go. Ooh, looks good. Looks good. Let's see what it's doing here. So if you are not familiar, this is the brand new button lock from Kaiser called the Clairvoyant. It is a big boy. So you have a titanium faux bolster button lock with a carbon fiber inlay on both sides. You have this really nice titanium deep carry pocket clip. Nice back spacer, probably titanium. You have the maker's mark there, which is perfect. I believe this is a Munko design. Let me double check that. Is that right? It doesn't say. I believe it is. Munko knives. So, looks good. It's centered. Nice and centered. Pivot looks good. You got a pivot collar there. This bad boy is coming in S35VN, called the Clairvoyant. There's the model number. It's a good looking knife, and that's what drew me to it. The second thing that drew me to it was the size, and it's a good looking knife. So let's pop it open here and see what she looks like. Hey, that's pretty good. I was worried. I had a few people get a hold of me and say that their action was a little light. I am happy to say this is nice and stout. Like very stout for a button lock. Very stout. You have a little bit of button stick there, but that is completely fine with me if it's manageable button stick. And basically, I don't mind it at all. It gives you a nice little tactile, bump. And if that means it's locked up good, no issues with me. As long as the lockup is good. The plunge looks very similar to what they've done in the past, which is indicative of basically a 40% fail rate and a 60% success rate off of the models that I have from Kaiser. I ran a button lock test to see what knives were failing, which knives were passing. Munko knives. So this is a Munko design. I really like this upswept, modified sheep's foot, Warncliffe style blade. It's more of a modified sheep's foot. Comes down to this nice little tip there. I really like this blade shape. It's very unique. The action is very good. Like I said, a little bit of button stick, but it's manageable. Easy to actuate, no problem. Just a nice little click, which if that stuck around, I would be perfectly fine with that. Yeah, this has very good, surprisingly good detent action. I mean, it's not detent action, so to speak. It's the pressure from the spring and the button lock. And boy, Kaiser has really nailed it on this example here. This bad boy is comfortable. You have a thinner handle, but man, I have not huge hands, but I got bigger hands, and this thing is extra comfortable. You have jimping about halfway up the spine there. Definitely enough. You can climb up a little bit there if you would like to. Nice blade shape to get yourself a little pinch style grip. You can absolutely do the index grip here. Man, I was very worried. I've had this for 3 or 4 days now, and I was extremely worried that this knife was not going to live up to the way it should, if I can say. I was worried. I was worried about a light detent. I was worried about all the little flaws that could possibly come with a button lock and a bigger knife. Should we do? So there it's holding up. Now that is probably, so that's like a lighter example of just checking to make sure it's staying locked up. Is it it's not a scientific test. It's not a concrete test across the board. But it does let you know if that plunge lock is in a good position, if it's going to hold up. You don't want I have some knives where just doing this, it will close. And if you're in the knife community, you know that if the knife can do that, it's an issue because it can cut you. If you're cutting up on something or even say down on something, and then you might bring it back up or push it back down depending on your grip, and that blade comes flying closed, your fingers are there, you are going to get cut, and it could be very, very badly. I know there has been some people, I'm not going to name companies, I'm not going to name names, but there have been some people who have been using a button lock in certain scenarios, and it wasn't anything out of the normal. They might have been using it a little harder than just cutting open some tape or whatever, which is the way it should be. You should be able to take this button lock knife and do any of the normal cuts that you would do with a frame lock or what have you. Now, no, it's not as strong as a frame lock or a back lock, but my point is we should be able to trust the button lock not to fail on us, especially with a very simple cut. Even if you're doing a little bit of pressure cutting, it should hold up. Yeah, they were made initially for fidgetability in a sense, and to have a different style lock, but they need to, if it's a locking knife, it needs to stay locked up under certain duress. Yeah, if you hang 100 pounds off the spine of the blade, you know, if it fails at that point, you know, then yes, that's fine. But just tapping it or doing some pressure cuts and whatnot, it should not be failing, guys. That's just plain and simple. It should not be failing. But the Mad Tanto I just got from Kaiser a few weeks back has been flawless. No issues with lockup. No issues with the lock failing. This one is showing good signs so far that it will hold up. So I love the way it looks. I love the lines of this knife. It's a very good looking knife. It's a good size. I want to say it's almost 3 3/4 of blade length. Let's get the old fatty out. So you have 3.5 of cutting edge to that tip there, 3 3/4, and all the way up there you're at 4 inches. So it's a bigger knife. It's definitely a full-size knife. You're almost coming down there to 8.5. We will be doing a full overview of this guy, maybe do a disassembly, and then in the future we'll be doing a short-term review of it. Now, just for reference, guys, I wanted to show you, this is the Kizer Baglighter XL. This is an example of what shouldn't happen. Don't try this at home. But that's a lighter tap, and it's closing up. Now, this one is not doing that. So it makes me think that, see, if you look at the plunges, they look very similar, but they must have changed the geometry in there to where that plunge is hitting the tang of the knife. I absolutely loved this knife. I love this knife, but it makes me not want to use the knife. I can feel it even rocking. It just worries me. Now, if I'm just cutting some cardboard or some tape, you know, that's fine. But it just worries me, guys. And button locks, ever since I ran that test and found all the issues that I found, and it's not just a Kaiser. I found Protex, Kaisers, Civivis, Vostids. I mean, every single one of them had a knife that failed in their lineup. So it's not just one company, guys. Hell, a $300 Malibu was failing. So now the Mordax I have passed, and I had knives from each company that passed as well. The only company that I had a button lock from that didn't fail, believe it or not, was CJRB. They're the only company that didn't have one fail on me. And so that, you know, I don't know what that tells you, but if you want a button lock that's going to hold up, that you can trust, CJRB might be a company to look at. But so that will wrap this one up, guys. We will be doing a full overview of this guy here coming up soon. Now that my rant is over, that will conclude the unboxing. This is not a review, not an overview, guys, so stay tuned for the overview. That'll do it, guys. If you're still here, thank you. I love you. If you're still here and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below. Give the video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. Otherwise, guys, I will catch you on the next one.